Welcome, listeners, to Daily English Talk.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We are so happy to have you join us today for another great conversation. If you want to keep improving your English with us, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell.
Hello everyone and welcome. Today we are talking about a topic that makes a lot of people feel nervous. We are going to teach you exactly how to start a conversation with anyone in English without feeling awkward or stuck.
It is such an important skill whether you are traveling, at work, or just making new friends. And make sure you watch until the very end, because we have a quick and fun quiz waiting for you to test what you learned today.
That is right. So, let us jump right in and share the best secrets to breaking the ice and starting a conversation naturally.
You are absolutely right, Alex. One of the most common things we hear from English learners is that they feel completely terrified to approach a native speaker. They worry that their mind will go completely blank the moment they try to say hello.
That fear is so common everywhere. People put a massive amount of pressure on themselves. They feel like they need to have perfect grammar or a brilliant opening line just to say hi. But usually, trying too hard is exactly what makes the situation feel very unnatural.
Exactly. The real secret to starting a conversation is not about having perfect grammar or being incredibly funny. It is about mastering the simple art of small talk. A lot of people think small talk is just useless chatting about the weather, but it is actually a vital communication tool.
That is a very interesting way to look at it. I never really thought about it that way. So, why is small talk actually so important for starting a conversation, especially if you are feeling nervous or shy?
Because small talk acts like a safe bridge between two strangers. It shows the other person that you are friendly, polite, and safe to talk to. And the absolute easiest way to start this small talk is by using your shared environment.
Using the shared environment? That sounds like a very smart and practical strategy for beginners. Can you explain how someone can actually do that in a real-life situation today?
Of course. Imagine you are waiting in a long line at a busy coffee shop. Instead of looking down at your phone, you can simply look at the person next to you and make an observation. You can say something like, "The line is moving really slowly today, isn't it?"
Oh, I see how that works perfectly. You are not asking them a deeply personal question that might make them uncomfortable. You are just making a simple comment about the exact situation you are both experiencing right at that moment.
Exactly. It is very low pressure for both of you. They just say yes and look away. You know they are busy and do not want to talk. But usually they will agree, smile, and add their own comment. Once they do that, the conversation has officially started.
That takes so much pressure off the learner immediately. But what if the shared environment is different? What if you are at a social event, like a friend's party or a work conference, where you actually need to introduce yourself to completely new people?
In those specific social situations, you can use the easiest opening line ever created. You just walk up to someone, make friendly eye contact, smile naturally, and say, "Hi, I do not think we have met yet. I am Bella." It is polite, confident, and it works flawlessly every single time.
I really love how simple and effective that opening is. It completely removes the need to invent a clever or complicated excuse to talk to someone. But here is the next big challenge. After you introduce yourself and they say their name, how do you prevent that awkward silence from happening?
To prevent that sudden awkward silence, you need to use the power of open-ended questions. These are questions that require more than just a simple yes or no answer. They naturally force the other person to share a little bit more information with you.
That makes perfect sense. If you just ask yes or no questions, the conversation quickly feels like a strict police interrogation. Can you give us a good example of an open-ended question for a party or social situation?
Instead of asking, "Do you know the host?" which gets a simple yes or no, you should ask, "How do you know the host?" This simple change invites them to tell a story or explain their connection, giving you many more topics to talk about.
That is a very subtle change, but it completely opens up the dialogue naturally. Once they start telling their story, you can easily pick up on small details and ask follow-up questions to keep the natural flow going.
Spot on, and that brings us to the next crucial skill, which is active listening. A lot of people are so nervous about what they are going to say next that they completely forget to actually listen to the person speaking to them.
I am definitely guilty of doing that sometimes. When you are focused on translating or finding the right vocabulary in your head, you completely miss the important details the other person is actually sharing with you.
To fix this common issue, focus entirely on their words and show you are listening through your body language. Nod your head slightly, maintain friendly eye contact, and use small reactions like saying "really" or "that is interesting" while they speak.
Speaking of body language, how important is our physical posture when starting a conversation with a stranger? I imagine that crossing your arms or looking down makes people feel like you do not want to be disturbed at all.
Body language is just as important as the actual words you use to speak. You always want to have an open, welcoming posture. Keep your arms uncrossed, face the person directly, and remember to smile warmly to show you are highly approachable.
It is truly amazing how much a simple, genuine smile can relax both you and the person you are talking to. But let us talk about the actual topics of discussion. Are there certain subjects we should completely avoid when meeting someone for the very first time?
Yes, definitely. When you are just starting a new conversation, you should always avoid heavy or controversial topics like politics, religion, or personal financial situations. You always want to keep the energy very light, positive, and friendly.
That is a very great rule to follow to stay out of trouble. So, if we avoid the heavy stuff, how do we reliably find good things to talk about? Is there a secret formula or a mental trick to always having a safe topic ready in your mind?
Actually, there is a very famous and helpful communication technique called the Ford method. It stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. These are universal, positive topics that almost everyone in the world loves talking about with new people.
The Ford method. I have actually heard of that before. It gives you a perfect roadmap for any conversation. Let us break it down quickly. For occupation, asking someone what they do for a living is always a standard and safe icebreaker anywhere in the world.
Yes, but you can make it much more interesting by asking an open-ended question like, "What is your favorite part about your job?" For recreation, you can ask what they enjoy doing on the weekends. People usually light up with energy when they talk about their personal hobbies.
Hobbies are definitely the best way to find common ground with a stranger. If they mention they love reading or hiking, and you do too, you instantly have a strong connection and the conversation becomes completely effortless from there.
Precisely. And for dreams, you do not have to get too deep or highly philosophical. You can simply ask if they have any exciting travel plans coming up this year. Everyone loves thinking about their upcoming vacations or personal goals.
So, if you ever feel stuck or nervous, You just remember the Ford method and you will instantly have 4 great directions to take the chat. But what if you need to approach a group of people instead of just one single person?
Approaching a group can definitely feel a bit more intimidating. The trick is to look for a group that has open body language. If they are standing in a tight, closed circle shoulder to shoulder, do not interrupt them. If there is a physical gap in the circle, they are usually open to newcomers.
That is a very helpful visual cue to look for in a crowded room. Once you find that open group, what is the most polite way to join them without feeling like you are ruining a private or important discussion?
You just walk up to the open space, smile naturally, wait for a small break in the conversation, and then you can politely say, "Hi everyone, do you mind if I join you?" It is very respectful and almost always gets a warm, welcoming response.
These strategies are incredibly practical for anyone listening today. We have completely covered how to start the chat and keep it going smoothly. But what about the ending? How do you elegantly exit a conversation without seeming rude or bored?
Exiting gracefully is just as important as starting. You never want to just walk away suddenly. You can simply wait for a natural pause and say, "It was so great meeting you. I am going to go grab a coffee now," or "I need to go say hi to a friend over there."
That is perfect because it gives a polite and clear reason for leaving, while still ending the entire interaction on a very positive and friendly note. It definitely leaves a great lasting impression on the other person.
Exactly. Starting a conversation is truly just a skill, and like any new skill, it gets much easier the more you practice it in real life. The next time you are out, try making one simple observation to a stranger and just see what happens. Now let us move on to our special vocabulary section for today. We have chosen 4 very common and essential words from our conversation that will help you feel much more comfortable when talking to new people. Let us look at how to use them. The first word is stranger. A stranger is simply a person whom you do not know at all. When you walk into a party or a new room, most of the people there are strangers until you talk to them. For example, she was shy at first because she was in a room full of total strangers.
The second word is awkward. This word describes a feeling of being uncomfortable, embarrassed, or not relaxed in a social situation. It is that strange feeling you get when nobody is talking. For example, there was an awkward silence during the meeting when nobody knew the answer.
The third word is polite. Being polite means having or showing good manners and respect for other people. Smiling, saying thank you, and asking before joining a group are all polite things to do. For example, it is important to be polite and smile when you introduce yourself to someone new.
The fourth word is confident. When you are confident, it means you feel sure about yourself and your abilities. You do not feel scared or worried about making mistakes when you speak. For example, the more you practice speaking English, the more confident you will become.
We have just learned 4 excellent and practical words: stranger, awkward, polite, and confident. Make sure to remember them carefully because our final quiz is coming up next right after this. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. We really hope these practical tips give you the courage to walk up to anyone and start a conversation in English without any fear.
Absolutely. And as we promised at the very beginning of the video, it is now time for our quick and fun quiz to test what you have learned today. Bella, let us hear the quiz sentence for our viewers.
Here's the sentence with a blank. He felt a bit blank when there was a sudden silence in the middle of the conversation. Now, which word fits perfectly in this blank? Is it A, confident, B, awkward, or C, polite?
Write your answer in the comments below. We are really excited to see who gets the correct answer. And don't forget to also write your own sentence using one of the 4 vocabulary words we explained today.
Thank you so much for watching and practicing your English with us. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our future episodes.
Keep practicing every day, stay positive, and remember that every stranger is just a friend you have not talked to yet. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next video.
Goodbye everyone, and take care.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more lessons.